Trump's been doing this thing where he's been like trying to withhold funding, freeze stuff. He's been doing that since he walked in. And remember he got at Columbia because anti-Semitism on campus. So let's take 400 mil from them and then also get to install like boards of people who get to watch over what curriculum you're teaching and everything. Yeah. So
that's
insane.
Just
400.
Hey, what are you studying today? Is it against the guidelines?
Yeah.
What you're studying?
Yes, on some Big Brother like
on some like, you know what that
yeah,
shit remind me of? Y'all ever seen or read Fahrenheit 451?
Fahrenheit 451.
Yeah, where they like banned, but it was like banning motherfuckers from reading books and shit like.
Yeah, we read it in 7th grade as a dystopian book. This sounds like some shit straight out of that. So basically, what happened, right? And I remember I was researching for this topic because my topic changed a couple times. I remember I was researching for it, and I was like, it's kind of boring. And then I started realizing things like pieces started falling in. So we'll start on April 11th. April 11th, Harvard University officials received a series of like outlandish written demands from the Trump administration. And these demands are like, what the fuck? One of them, they requested to install outside auditors who would monitor the school's academic departments. So we have to
outside auditors.
Yes. So mind you, so this random April 11th, you wake up, stretch in the morning, boom, your desktop is like, all right, cool. You, as the leader of Harvard University, you need to do X, Y, Z. It said the university shall commission an external party which shall satisfy the federal government as to its competence and good faith to audit those programs and departments that most fuel anti-Semitic harassment or reflect ideological capture.
So what does that look like? Does it have is it like a random nigga walking around with a clipboard? Hey,
Yeah, what is that, bro?
What I would assume is they're going to have people like come in that will be hired at Harvard that will like monitor like
some loyalist shit.
Yeah, like if you have an anthropology course. I remember when I took anthropology when I was in college, we had a section where we learned about jihad and what like jihad is and the misconceptions that we have as Americans or whatever, and like their religious views and everything, like in Middle Eastern countries that have that. And I'm pretty sure that according to whatever administration, if my former school was put under that, you wouldn't be able to teach that.
That's crazy.
Because obviously you can't humanize those people. You have to keep them as big, scary, bad people. That was one of the demands. The second one was the university must immediately shutter all diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. Offices
At Harvard,
you said they must shut?
They must shutter every single, all diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, offices, committees, positions, and initiatives under whatever name, and stop all DEI-based policies.
Under whatever name. Because remember, there was that whole loophole. I forgot, some school did it where they did a loophole where they just didn't call it DEI and they got around it.
Mind you,
whatever name.
So explain the significance of it.
So first of all, Harvard University is private. So this is why we're going to get into the Harvard's legal argument against this, because the government should not be able to like compel your speech in this way and what things you can teach about, especially as a private institution.
Yeah,
that's like the government walking up to McDonald's and be like, nigga, you only gonna sell McChickens with Trump face on the wrapping.
Yeah.
The fuck? You can't dictate that. I'm a private company. So the reason why the DEI shit is crazy, again, like how many times do we have to keep saying it? Diversity, equity, and inclusion is banned.
I saw a thing.
There are other humans besides white people, you know.
It's bad.
I saw a thing that like Charlie Kirk said that I think it was some dumb shit where he was like, diversity is like the worst thing.
Yes, which is the dumbest fucking thing of all time, because again, even from, this is why the military was pushed to be desegregated in the 50s, because at a certain point, some people got past their racism to acknowledge that, hey, if we want a well-functioning machine, like a thing capable of defending an entire country, then people who live in that country who went through different things probably have to be heading that military. Because if you just have all of one perspective, like imagine you're trying to have a campaign in like Africa or something, and you have no nigga who's even remotely familiar with Africa there.
Yeah.
That can't tell you or your soldiers about the cultural traditions that happen there, how to move when you down there, all types. That's the dumbest fucking situation that you could be in. Get blamed, get attacked.
That's the shit, right? Like when you hear a lot of like white people talking about like, oh, we don't even have white privilege and none of that. I think even the privilege itself speaks in the sense of like,
you
nigga,
saying that and showing that white
literally of the sense of like
you don't even recognize that
you're so far up your ass that like we just aren't different.
The type of nigga
that y'all don't get about.
These niggas will be like, y'all get a whole month and be like, yeah.
Yep. The type of niggas that'll
get it.
the type of niggas that will like kidnap you and bring you to a place and force you to do all the work to build that place, and then be like, it's crazy that you want to be in this place.
Yeah.
How the fuck
you
did I
be
get
recognized in this place?
Yeah. I don't know what fantasy land you live in. There are
didn't think we were humans at first.
Yeah. So they wrote up all this list of bullshit to Harvard, and it was like, yo, y'all got to do this. Immediately after Harvard said it would not comply with those, because like, what the fuck? The Trump administration froze $2.2 billion in multi-year grants to Harvard.
Isn't that illegal?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
We'll get to that.
Froze.
Yes. They froze the shit. So
from a private college.
The Department of Homeland Security also said that they canceled nearly $3 million in agency grants to Harvard. And at Trump's behest, the IRS reportedly started scrutinizing the university's tax-exempt status. So the president. So let's rewind. The president contacted a college and was like,
private college,
a private university, and was like, y'all not teaching this shit that I want y'all to be teaching. Y'all need to install people that will make sure you're teaching what I believe. And they were like, no, what the fuck? Not everyone agrees with you. And they said, okay, we're taking your money and we're gonna take your tax exempt status. That's fucking insane.
That's enough.
To the biggest, most like pristine college.
Yes, this is the biggest,
planet.
most wealthy. I think Harvard has the biggest endowment of any college. I think in total, like 53 something billion dollars. But most of that money is directed to already go to like certain programs that you can't really touch. This is
Imagine working your entire life to get to Harvard. You get to Harvard and Trump does some shit like that.
Yep.
This quick.
Yep.
Institution.
So when the good question asking whether or not it's illegal, the administration's actions reportedly skipped over requirements that say that the government must identify and list violations, offer a hearing, and notify Congress, then wait 30 days before applying penalties. So
he didn't do shit.
So if it came out at Harvard that they were teaching like, slavery wasn't that bad, it'll do XYZ, then if the government was like, yo, this is like racial discrimination, you can't do that, they'd have to be like, yo, this problem is particular right here. This is how this violates that. We're going to offer y'all a hearing to defend yourselves. 30 days later, we're going to take your funding if XYZ is determined. These niggas said, we're going to send you a letter. And you said no, so we're just going to take it. The funny part is they reportedly sent it on accident.
What?
Wait a minute. So you mean these niggas, they sent them...
Yes, they said they sent it on accident?
Let's peel back again. The layers of incompetence were going. The administration, according to the New York Times, they reported pulling from multiple different sources. They sent it on accident. They weren't on the same page as to when they were going to say it. People in the administration don't know whether or not they were supposed to send it that day, or like whether or not they were on the same page. So they sent it, and they were like, and then Harvard's like, okay, are they going to like retract this shit? Like, what the fuck? Y'all sent the shit on accident? They didn't retract it. A senior White House official went and told the New York Times that the administration was standing by what was in the letter. And then they said it was malpractice for Harvard's lawyers to not call the administration officials about the letter when they received it.
Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me. So wait,
so
you mean to tell me
you're all fucked up?
You mean to tell me I'm over here teaching what I teach? You don't like what I'm teaching, so you send me a letter. Hey, stop teaching that before I stop giving you money. Oh, wait. Oh, damn. I wasn't supposed to send that, but actually...
But still following
I'm standing by what I said, and
y'all are really fucked up.
Yeah.
That's gaslighting.
Bro, these people
are
evil.
You are
JJ, bro.
Wicked. Nigga. I'm sitting here thinking how the fuck does this whole situation even take place? Nigga, you have to understand that, like, this is the third leak that is hit the...
Yeah, that's three.
This ain't
no. Okay,
all of these
thank
niggas
God
drunk.
you just said
all
that,
these niggas drunk.
No, actually, what's so scary, because it's like, what do y'all mean y'all weren't on the same page contacting one of the biggest institutions
I was saying, you have one job.
Yeah.
You have one job you do all day. What are you doing in that White? They got to be having like
no, they're both they are
orgies in the White House. Because how are we not on
doing
the same
cocaine
page?
off the Declaration of Independence?
Niggas doing cocaine off the Constitution and shit.
Off something because they're not reading
happening.
it.
Yeah,
They're not reading it. Because if you look at it, right? So I was wondering, I was like, so Harvard filed their lawsuit against them like immediately. They're like, what the fuck? The way you did this violates the First Amendment, and it didn't follow procedures outlined by Congress for how you're supposed to do this. So they filed their lawsuit, and I looked into like what their argument is going to be. And it was so funny, and we'll get into what they're getting at. They said the government has not and cannot identify any rational connection between anti-Semitism, concerns and the medical, scientific, technological, and other research it has frozen that aims to save American lives, foster American success, and preserve American security and maintain America's global position as a leader in innovation. So the thing is, ever since the pro-Palestine protests have been happening, right, you've seen a failure from like the Biden administration to like correctly adjust to where people were at on that issue, even calling it a genocide. Like they still won't do it. A lot of people in the country still won't. And you saw that like they were better than Trump, but they didn't like meet the moment. Then you see with Trump, which is what a lot of people said, and what including I said, that he can be and he will be worse on this issue. Now we've become even closer to Israel, and what they're starting to do now is as a warrant to crack down on Palestinians who are here, to deport them, as a warrant to crack down on even spreading like anti-war or not wanting Israel to like genocide people. We're seeing them trying to utilize the universities because the universities were hotbeds for where those protests were happening. So now they're trying to say that there was anti-Semitism. They might pull one or two instances of like a Jewish student that said, oh, I felt uncomfortable by it. And now they're saying you college isn't doing enough to protect against anti-Semitism.
It's discrimination.
That's so fucking funny. That's so funny. And you want to know why that's so funny? We're going to take a little bit of a tangent, but it's going to come back in the end. The FSU shooting just happened, right? Florida State University. To those who don't know.
Condolences
to everybody. This was insane.
I seen oh my goodness. I don't. But go ahead. I'll share.
I was gonna say this is insane because keep in mind the Stoneman Douglas shooting happened like years ago. David Hogg, which I'm not gonna get into him, but he's the vice chair of the DNC. He's the one I said he's using $20 million to get Democrats who are better like in their stuff or whatever. And shout out to you because good move. But he survived that shooting, and then he became like a founder of March for Our Lives, which is a big organization that's trying to push like gun reform. A bunch of people who survived that shooting became like activists and were like helping out that. Some of them went to FSU, and now you've had to live through it again. And that shit is
that's
so
traumatic.
Two of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That shit is so fucked. So for those of y'all who don't know, April 17th, Tallahassee police say that FSU student Phoenix Eichner, which was a stepson of a Leon County sheriff, used his stepmom's firearm to gun down students and adults before being shot and subdued by law enforcement. He was taken in alive.
Oh, man. Wait, what?
He was shot and subdued. Yes, taken in alive. Again,
allegedly, she probably told him, "Don't kill my son."
Yeah.
Wait.
He was shot and subdued.
How many victims?
There were killed 2, injured 6.
And they took him in was it I don't know, race, girl, boy?
White man. White
and they
boy.
took him in alive?
They took him in alive?
They took him in alive. The shooting claimed the lives of...
He killed 6?
He killed 2. He
killed
injured
2,
6.
injured 6. And they took him in alive.
That's fucking wicked, bro. There was a lady that was involved in that shooting. She got shot, and she was like laying down. She played dead.
Yep, I seen
for
that.
like a good minute. Wow. And here's what pissed me off: there was another student there, walking around with some Starbucks, taking a video, aimed the video down at the girl that was playing dead, walked off. Continue to drink.
You're lying.
They said we don't have all the details like completely, but that video does appear to be authentic. That there was like
she was bleeding?
Yes, she was bleeding.
Like on the ground.
Wait, just a random
There's a student who was like there while the shooting's happening. She's just kind of walking, sipping on her like drink, recording or whatever.
Wait, like
casually on some casual shit,
as though like. Yeah, like the desensitized.
Didn't try to.
You hit the nail on the head.
You want to know what's so funny that you brought up how desensitized we become to this? We're gonna get deeper into it because it's not just us. We see where the desensitization comes from. So before we get into that, the shooting claimed the lives. I want to talk about the victims just a little bit. Robert Morales, who's an FSU employee and a high school football coach, and Tiru Chaba, who was a married father of 2 from South Carolina. He was at FSU on a work-related visit. Those are the 2 people who passed away.
On a work-related visit, bro. Rest in peace.
It was insane. And then I started looking into like the shooter, what happened, because I immediately was like, he really did this shit and got taken in alive. That's
nuts.
And then they said a Florida State University mass shooting survivor told NBC's Hallie Jackson that the suspect Phoenix Eichner was a member of the pro-Trump Turning Point USA chapter.
There's
was kicked out of a college club for white supremacist views. He also had a profile picture that was a Hitler profile picture, and his username online was like the name of the German SS, which was the foot soldiers, like the secret police that would like come and take people away during the Holocaust. Yeah.
And so, they took him in alive.
They took him alive.
And no one's even talking about. I haven't seen anything about the shooter.
I have not.
You want to know what our president said?
Oh my God, I saw that shit.
Yep.
Gang, what'd he say, bro?
The same nigga that is suing Harvard University because they aren't doing enough to combat anti-Semitism on their campus.
Nigga, y'all ain't.
Saw this shooting with a nigga with a Hitler profile picture and with a nigga who's been kicked out of a political club and was a proud member and supporter of Charlie Kirk's chapter of his organization, Turning Point USA. President Donald Trump reacted to the shooting by immediately defending guns, telling reporters that these things are terrible, but the gun doesn't do the shooting, the people do. You know what's so funny about that? You would think that we'd get a strong condemnation of anti-Semitism, right? You know the underlying viewpoints that probably didn't help when it came to how this shooter rationalized his world and decided to commit this fucking crime.
Yeah, cooking.
We don't even mention it. But a pro-Palestine protest happens, and now $2.2 billion needs to be frozen from Harvard because they're not doing enough to protect against anti-Semitism.
When the nigga that shot them people is
white nationalist shooters have been the highest domestic terrorism threat for years in this country. And they are voting for you, Donald Trump.
And they got niggas in chains.
They're watching.
They got niggas in chains. They send in to El Salvador talking about they're terrorists. And they're taking niggas like that in alive. That's like.
Then when the shooting happened, because I remember you had told me, he was like, oh, shootings happen all the time or some shit. Like, what did he say?
Oh my God, no. Yeah, he said these things are terrible.
Yeah, he was like, but these things happen or some shit like that. What do you mean these things happen,
bro? What do you mean these things happen when y'all can solve the issue and you can go up and be like,
I'm supposed to believe that this whole thing about going after these colleges is legitimate and everything because, oh my God, anti-Semitism on these campuses. Charlie Kirk is proudly touting your agenda, man. That's one of your fans who did this. All these people, fucking Michael Knowles, fucking Matt Walsh, fucking all these people who have said white supremacists, white nationalists, and Nazi-esque rhetoric for years at this point are all on your side and are in the White House right now.
JJ, they didn't tell him. They didn't tell the kid to shoot him. They didn't tell the kid to go on to school. They didn't tell him to do it.
Nuts, bro. Nuts. That's how they.
That's what they're going to play it out, bro.
The guns didn't do it. The guns didn't do it. The people did. The people who watched Charlie Kirk. The people who watch you say that dumb shit. What do you think they get? The people who do this continuously and repeatedly with the same narratives and the same shit that they be writing in manifestos over and over again. And we can't see a through line. But there's a pro-Palestine protest somewhere. And now, my God, there's anti-Semitism everywhere all of a sudden.
We need to give $2 billion.
Yeah, the anti-Semitism is everywhere. It's in the White House.
If y'all don't believe what this nigga JJ is saying, let's just watch how they do Carmelo Anthony. And I'm not excusing that. Exactly. But let's watch how they do that situation versus this situation. They took the nigga in alive. Let me walk somewhere, anywhere, and pop 2 people and injure 6 and see if they taking me in alive, nigga. Yeah. Keep it a bean, nigga. They're putting 60 in my dumb ass, nigga.
They're gonna turn you to a swish kebab.
Nigga. Dunk, nigga.
Yeah. So it's just so funny to see. Cause I initially started looking through the Harvard situation and I was like, damn, I don't know where like exactly this is going. Now that this happened at the exact same time that I'm supposed to believe this administration, some of you dumbass Kanye niggas are using Jewish people as a cover-up for the shit that they want to do. They're using Jewish people to justify taking away immigrants' First Amendment. It's not going to stop right there. The next thing is going to be political dissonance. The next thing is going to be anybody who we don't like. You dumbasses are sitting here being like, oh, you know, yeah, doing X, Y, Z.
The guy says,
and the Jewish people profiting off of. These people are literally getting used right now by this current administration to throw flagrant accusations of anti-Semitism to take people's rights away and to strong-arm universities into teaching a pro-Trump agenda. And you niggas are sitting at home with your hands folded?
It's gonna have to be they family, bro. It's gonna have to be they family, they mama, they dad, something like that for them to realize, bro.
Yep.
It's sick, bro.
And you let them every single time. Sit down and say thoughts and prayers. Sit down and say we can't really do nothing about it. Look up how much that person who said that is taking from the National Rifle Association. There will be commas in that number.
Yeah.
Bullshitting.
Multiple bullshit.
Over here, bullshit.
Hella zeros, bro. Condolences to all the victims.
Condolences to everybody. Of course.
Rest in peace,
This
bro.
shit needs to stop happening. And you dumbass niggas needs to stop acting like the Second Amendment means that we can make no smart gun reform.
Yeah, like I think this is the thing, right? I don't understand where it comes from that it's like the Second Amendment is like, oh, like taking away like not even that. Adding gun reform means like taking away all guns. What are we talking about? Like you could just put certain things in order so to make it harder for things like this to happen.
That's what's so funny.
That's genuinely it.
We've seen these past few months of all the loopholes these niggas done made to like exempt taxes, all types of shit. So you're telling me it's this hard to do some gun reform?
Gang, there's
like
no
some specific
reason.
Things, bro. Y'all been doing.
Gang, look at the nigga that tried to assassinate y'all fucking leader.
Yeah.
He was clicked up with a nigga named or not even clicked up, but he had a shirt on that was a Demolition Ranch shirt. Demolition Ranch is a YouTuber. I forgot his name's like Matt something, but he's a YouTuber and he has all these guns. I used to watch him back in the day when I was like a kid because he used to be with Roman Atwood and them. He's like, I guess they're heavy Trump supporter, whatever, because he has all these guns. This nigga got like 50 cal Barrett like sniper rifles. Why? Why does this civilian have machine guns and sniper rifles? That's all we saying. Nobody's saying take away your little ass Glock 19.
Yeah.
Nobody's saying just take all that. And all we're saying is add regulation to the shit.
The original reading of the Second Amendment says like being necessary for like a well-regulated militia, the right of the people to bear arms should not be infringed. They even knew at the time that like, yeah, you all should be able to have guns, but like it should be in a purview of like y'all have a militia, y'all have your rules to it because we don't need niggas just walking around here with anything.
Exactly.
And you niggas think that, hey, maybe we should get rid of this gun. Maybe we should be smarter about like, how we do background checks.
Niggas be 24 still on their parents' insurance.
Health insurance.
With ARs. How the fuck is that possible?
This nigga got
Don't y'all remember that one dude, FPS Russia?
Yeah,
niggas shooting tanks and shit.
I remember him. He was
Why do you have
gun
that?
YouTubers.
Why do you have flamethrowers?
Why, bro? You're a boy,
you don't need that shit, bro.
You don't,
bro.
So while everything is still happening on the ground, it's still alleged, obviously, all things considered. But we have like a lot of information that's coming out. Hopefully proper justice is due. And maybe we can start establishing a precedent in this country that if you commit a crime, you get to live to see your trial. Or you get to have a trial. Thank you for watching this long. If you haven't already, subscribe. What are you doing?
What are you doing?
What are you doing? You think we just sitting here doing it for nothing?
You think you're gonna sit here and not
need
shit?
to
Like
eat. I know you're not subscribed. Click it.
Cool.